Hello and welcome to another video. This will be another My Story animated reaction. This one is called A Story of an Angel Living with the Devil. I'm actually not sure what this means. I can't even guess on the villain of the story, judging from the title. So, let's see what happens in this story. This video is just a little bit over 13 minutes long, so after this, all I have left is the F Mouse stuff. Oh, and the SMG4 short for today.
Hi, I'm Tally. I grew up on the edge of a small town in the Midwest. Before I continue, please hit like and subscribe. Flowers have surrounded me for as long as I can remember. My dad had the most wonderful flower shop, and he used to make these glorious crowns with daisies, and I'd feel just like a princess in a fairy tale. I also loved to help him in the garden, either at home or at our store, but sometimes Mom seemed frustrated when I was the one having fun with Dad. Ugh. Tally, here you are again, covered in mud and leaving a trail of dirt everywhere. I just finished mopping, for goodness sake. Look at your pretty sister. Why can't you be more like her? I knew that Mom adored my older sister Sophie for being more interested in clothes, shoes, or makeup like she was, and they loved giggling over their favorite TV shows. Sophie never liked working with plants or putting her hands in dirt. By the time I turned 12, Sophie had become popular at school. She always looked fierce and fabulous, with outfits that rivaled pop stars. I could see that boys already liked her. Even Par, a boy in her grade who lived down the street, used to help her get off the school bus if she was wearing a dress. Yeah, you guessed it. I had a silent crush on him. He looked like a real prince, especially that time when someone made fun of me. She's so lame, she trips up the stairs. What's wrong, Tally? Lost your tally-ho? Par reached over, took his sports kit, and threw it out the window. There's a reason to get off the bus, or we can make fun of you for losing your kit. From then on, everyone was quiet, and I only looked at him. By the time I was 15, my dad's health had started keeping him home more, and a year later, our flower shop was barely bringing in enough money for bills. Also, I dreamed of traveling to Paris, college, and everything else that cost money. I wanted to find a way, so I took my grandmother's recipe for making perfume. We could sell them at the shop. Excellent idea. These could do well. But just then, Sophie picked up the vials I put so much work into and threw them in the trash hard enough to shatter. We were all taken aback. Why are you humoring her? Nobody wants Granny's cents. This will not bring even a penny. You're an idiot, Tally. Don't pay attention to her. You're doing great. I think Sophie is also right. Maybe we should give up the flower shop altogether, and I could try something more sensible. Like always, Mom changed sides, but I couldn't bear Dad's miserable face at the thought of dissolving his dream. The tears I saw in his eyes before he turned away gutted me. Only the next week at school, I almost dropped my books when I saw the flyer everyone was looking at. There was a school-wide science competition. The grand prize was a trip to Paris. Paris! Oh, Paris is my dream! I have to win this! Maybe you could grow a unique type of flower. Wait, what? Did I say that out loud? Par was standing there talking to me. Now, my stomach flipped. It felt like being 12 years old all over again. Your family owns the flower shop, right? Then, out of nowhere, Sophie stepped in. That's right, we do. Let's do a project together, Par. You have such good ideas. She put her arm around his and walked off while I stood there steaming. The one guy I've always liked, she has to steal away? Doesn't she ever think about anyone but herself? Later, while I was working at the shop, Glenn, a boy from school...
The sister seems like the villain of the story. The mom isn't the best person either, but with what I've seen from the sister so far, she seems to be the villain of the story. But I guess we'll find out.
Heyman. His family was the richest in town. They owned hotels, theaters, and even a country club. I was reminded of the time when my dad and I delivered flowers to their house, and so they needed some very special flowers for an upcoming event. You're Sophie's sister, aren't you? Yeah, well, there's nothing I can do about that. You're a lot cuter up close. I'd always heard that you were a gnome. You must have heard it from Sophie, and I guess you still believe in fairies too. Absolutely. They're definitely real. Turn around. Let me see your wings. Okay, funny guy. I didn't think much more of the exchange. I was ecstatic about that big order. It would solve almost all our problems. And later, I could get more orders for Dad's experimental treatment. But the next day at school, Glenn magically appeared at my locker. Huh, you again. Too soon? For what exactly? Get to know you better. Walk you to class. An intoxicating feeling began seeping into me. I was thinking that maybe we could even work on a project together for the contest. No, I've got a project of my own. I'd like to win with that. And just then, Parr walked by on the other side of the hall and looked at me standing there with Glenn. I didn't think. I just reacted quickly. I put my hand flat on Glenn's chest and spoke super quietly and sweetly, so Parr wouldn't hear but might notice. But maybe I could help you come up with something too. I glanced over at Parr and caught him still looking right at me and then quickly looking away. Boom! Score one for Tally! But Glenn, of course, saw the whole thing.
If you help me, maybe I can help with the other thing it looks like you want.
I rushed to the class so I could ignore him. Later, when I sat down for lunch, there was Glenn again, and my friends moved down to give us some space. What's going on?
I bought them all lunch for a week so we could continue negotiating.
Negotiating?
Sure, you want Mr. Tall, dark hair, and fairly good looking. That's obvious.
Look, I'm sorry. I guess I got carried away this morning. It's just...
Your sis?
Glenn was talking to me, but he was looking at Sophie, sitting very close to Parr, all smiles and talking away.
Look, I need the extra credit for doing the competition. Paris, I go when I want. My family has an apartment there. You could have the trip. The winner's grades get the biggest bump. I need this to graduate. Just please help me, and it could help you. Win-win.
I sat there pondering and unwrapped my simple cheese sandwich while he bit into his double burger and offered me a sip of his milkshake.
If you act like you're into me, it might reel him in. He's not even looking at her.
I'm not trying to reel him in.
Really? Who are you trying to kid? You're very cute when you try to lie.
Glenn was handsome, and I could smell his Chanel de Bleu. For a moment, having his face so close to mine made me forget all about Parr.
I'll text you after school so we can make a plan.
Glenn stood up, and the whole lunchroom saw him lean in and kiss my cheek. I mean, it could work. I could actually help him graduate, win my own project, and spark Parr's jealousy to get him to admit his feelings all at once, right? The next day after dinner, Mom drove Sophie and me to the library to work with Parr and Glenn. When we got there, Parr opened the door and helped Sophie and me out of the car like an expert. When he took my hand, I tried to look him in the eyes, but just then, Glenn strode up.
Parry, how's it going, man? Good evening, ladies.
Sophie looked taken in by Glenn.
Don't call me Parry. Okay, sorry, man. I heard some guests call you that. Did you girls know he works for my parents as a bellboy in the summer? Yeah, I'm not lazy or spoiled. Whoa. Jealousy's not a good look on anyone. Are you still sure that I hid the golf cart keys last year when you were supposed to caddy? It was just a prank for laughs. It wasn't personal.
Just then, Glenn tripped and landed with his shin slamming into the sidewalk. Ooh, that's gotta hurt. Sophie sounded actually concerned. I started wondering if she was into Glenn now, because he was way more her type. What if my helping Glenn wouldn't just make Parr jealous, but also push her into Glenn's arms? Wait, was that Glenn's plan all along? Whatever. I had to stay focused on my plan. The library has that World of Plants garden. Let's borrow a little aloe vera and put it on your shin right away.
Have I told you you're a genius?
I let Glenn lean on me, and as we walked off, I could see Parr's expression change. Later that night, Sophie came into my room before I went to sleep. Hey, sorry for being kinda snippy earlier, and you're so sweet, you're even helping Glenn. He seems nice. Wait, are you about to ask me to help you get to know Glenn? I mean, only if you're not into him. You're not, right? I mean, I grabbed Parr for my partner because you are incredible. You want all the boys for yourself. No, Parr and I have been friends since we were kids. I'm not interested in him. I just wanted to work on the project with him. Tally, I'm sorry if it seemed like I was taking him away from you that day. You don't need his brain to help yours. I do. I almost couldn't believe my ears, but Sophie was weirdly trying to be sisterly, and we started getting along better after that, which I liked. But the next week, I had another problem. The flowers that were shipped in for Glenn's order were short on lilies. Thankfully, I knew where some grew, and ironically, it was behind Parr's house. Do you mind if I pick the lilies? It's for an order.
It's so muddy back there. I'll help you.
We practically skated. The mud was so slippery. We grabbed each other so we didn't fall, and I melted standing there with Parr's warm hands holding me.
Being tall has advantages.
On the way back to the front of his house, we laughed and laughed until we got back on dry ground.
Please, I hope you don't mind, but I've known Glenn for a long time. You should steer clear of him. He's bad news.
Gosh, my plan worked. Okay, next, tell me what I'm waiting for.
And I know clearly that our project is gonna blow the judges away.
Oh, trying to scare me off to bump up your chances? My phone started buzzing, and I had to get the flowers back ASAP. The moment was lost, but Parr looked so sweet as I rushed away, like maybe he didn't want me to go. With work and the extra science project, the contest judging day came around super fast. We each set our ideas out to be seen by everyone. I displayed my super scents, crafted colognes with painted booklets describing each scent. I felt so proud seeing Glenn's display. It looked excellent too. After the first period, I noticed some kids giggling and even pointing in my direction.
Tally, you must have put all your efforts into Glenn's project. It looks fantastic. Yours, well...
What do you mean? I thought the bottles looked nice. I ordered them from Amazon, and the booklets, and...
There are no bottles, just one little paper.
I ran back to see that my project, all of my work, was gone. I ran down the hall and found Sophie with her group of friends, and I didn't care that I was butting in. Where are they? This isn't funny. I was just starting to trust you. Only when I told her, she seemed completely sincere that she hadn't touched anything, and her attitude was in line with how we'd been closer lately. You can trust me. Come on, I'll help. We can make an announcement or something. Tally, honestly, I'm really sorry someone did this to you.
I think I know.
Sophie and I followed Parr to the lockers. Glenn walked up to his, but took his hands off the latch to hold mine.
Can't wait to see you all at the judging. Tally's my girl, and we'll be celebrating tonight.
Parr pulled on his locker, but it was stuck. He reached up and hit the top really hard. His locker opened, and all the perfume bottles and booklets started falling out. What?
Wow, talk about show and smell. Very kindergarten of you, Glenn.
I can't believe you would do this to me. I slapped Glenn in front of everyone, and I quickly gathered my project pieces out of his locker.
Tally, I didn't do this. I care about you, honestly.
Sophie told everything to the hall monitor, and Glenn was taken to the principal's office. I arranged everything back and won first place. Just as I was beginning to feel happy with people congratulating me, 2 school guards came to take Parr away. Wait, what's going on now? They have security camera footage. It was Parr who tried to sabotage your project, not Glenn. What? It turned out that Parr did it all because he was jealous of Glenn. I was mortified. I had always looked up to Parr, but he wasn't worthy of anything. I felt confused and really wanted to clear things up with Glenn. Where's Glenn? I looked everywhere, but Glenn went home. I tried texting, but I got no replies. He didn't show up for school for the next few days, so I asked at one of the hotels.
Mr. Glenn left town.
I couldn't stop thinking about him. I wanted to apologize to him. I wanted to tell him so much, but when I tried calling, it went straight to voicemail. After a month, Sophie got busy with another boyfriend, and since Dad was still ill and the prize was only for 2, Mom made me take her to Paris so as not to waste the tickets and flaunt our signature scent at a few of the hot spots to snag some big orders. It seemed that I got what I wanted, but I kept feeling like something was missing. And then one day at the cafe, I couldn't believe my eyes when Glenn came over. He introduced himself to Mom, then with one finger closed my open mouth. I threw my arms around him. You're here! It's fate. Tally told me about you. How did you find me?
It was just a phone call to your house. Once I finally put the SIM card of the phone I smashed into a new phone, I got your messages. You told your dad you loved this cafe near your hotel.
I am so sorry for everything. I shouldn't have believed Parr, and your project didn't win, and...
Winning was just an excuse to be a little closer to you.
Mom got up to go back to the hotel. I was happy she was giving us space, but Glenn stopped her.
There's a note waiting for you at the hotel. I hope you'll be pleased.
Mom looked elated with the mystery as she walked away. I looked quizzically at Glenn, and he took my hands in his.
My dad's partner has a famous perfume gallery here, and they wanted to meet you since they want the best scents.
That is so incredible. I don't know what to say. I can get Dad's experimental treatment with this order.
Hey, what were you thinking about me before Parr broke into my locker and all? I want to know.
Okay, I thought maybe you were into Sophie all along and worked with me to make her jealous since she's more your type.
No, I always liked you the way you are. Simple, pure, cute, caring, and smart. And I was just waiting for us to make sense.
Ha! I make sense.
Yes, you do. Winning sense at that.
God, talk about a turn of events. I thought Sophie was the villain of the story, but she turned out being decent toward the end, and that guy, Parr, ended up being the villain of the story. I was even thinking maybe it's Glenn that's a villain of the story. No, it's this Parr guy. Oh, that's crazy. I did not expect that. So, yeah. This was a very interesting story, and I like the big plot twist that was in this episode as well. So anyways, I'm going to go ahead and end this video here. Stay tuned for the next one.